is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning and welcome to INCradio South Central State Satellite Studio. I am your host, Arnie, and my co-host here, Nate.
Hello, good morning. I'm running the cameras today.
Yes, so today we are going to talk about baseball, and we do have a very special guest today. Let's go ahead and have him introduce himself.
Good morning. My name is AJ Albert Parks, also known as AJ. I am here in the Fort Worth district. I'm a deacon here in the Fort Worth district.
Very good. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. So tell us first, baseball. How did you get started in baseball and when were you playing?
So I got my start in baseball when I was 10 years old in San Jose, California.
Hello, DJ. How was school today?
Hi, Nanay. It was good po. How about you po? How was your day? And are you almost home po?
It was great. The weather is amazing too. And I'm almost home. Is there something bothering you?
Our art teacher asked our class to paint a bunny and egg, but I told him that I do not celebrate Easter because it's against the teaching of God po.
That's right. We are taught from our worship services and Bible studies that we do not follow such practices because it's not from the Bible. You can share the website incmedia.org to your teacher so that he can understand what we are taught.
Okay po, I will do that po. See you soon po.
Starting again?
Yeah, just start over. Go ahead.
So we're back. Sorry, had a few technical difficulties here in the studio. Hopefully everything's going to be okay now. So we were talking to AJ about his start in baseball. So you said it's because your mother loved to watch baseball.
Yes, she loved to watch baseball. And I mean, she was a diehard fan.
But did you actually like the sport or were you just doing it for your mom?
I used to watch with her. Yeah, I used to watch the games. We would stay up late nights. You know, if the games went to extra innings, we would stay up and watch the entire game. Even though I had to go to school the next day, or sometimes we stayed up till like 11 midnight watching an entire game.
And what city were you at the time?
We were in the Bay Area in San Jose,
okay.
California, but her favorite team was in Oakland.
Oh, yeah. You know what? So I don't know if you remember when they had the World Series when it was the Battle of the Bay.
Oh yes.
And that's when like the big
Big
earthquake.
earthquake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was actually watching it and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
is my TV shaking or what's going on with the game? That's I think one of the most popular games. I mean, that's one of the ones I really I remember.
Yeah, we were both watching. We were watching that. I was in and out because I loved playing outside. But I was outside. I would run in, find out what the score is, and watch a little bit of the game, and run back outside. And then one of those times when the earthquake started, when I was outside, and you just see all the poles start shaking and everything.
Yeah, I know that was interesting.
Yeah.
You
So-
know, I had a friend who was sitting on a swing set, and because he was on the swings, he didn't feel the earthquake at all. He saw all the buildings moving around, and he was just like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, but that was memorable because remember, like the bridge collapsed and
Oh,
everything.
definitely, yeah.
So that was, yeah, and yeah, that was a good day because I use that for a lot of excuses. So then, okay, so you started when you were a child, and then as you got older, how did baseball fit in your life?
So yeah, baseball it became my favorite sport because I used to play soccer, and soccer was my favorite sport. I would always have a soccer ball and running around playing with a soccer ball. We'd play soccer at recess, and when I was younger. But once I started playing baseball, I definitely fell in love with the game and really tried to hone my skills. I would always practice. My garage at our house, I taped a like square there so I could pitch. So I would be outside as soon as the sun came up, just pitching against the garage for hours, just trying to learn how to pitch good and get my locations down and different pitches and things like that. So I'd be out there and everybody in the house could just hear that ball banging against the garage early in the morning.
If I was your sibling, I probably would have not been very happy.
But I got them involved too because my little brother, he also he liked playing baseball too. Maybe because me playing, or I'm not sure what got him playing too. But I'd pull him out there and I'd pitch to him, and he'd try to hit off me sometimes, and I'd get we'd go outside, start knocking on the neighbors' doors, all the other guys on the neighborhood, get them outside early in the morning. Like as soon as the sun came up, I'm sitting there like watching cartoons. It's like, can I go get them now? Can I go
Did you ever play neighborhood ball?
No, not baseball. If we did a neighborhood, it was usually like kickball,
Oh yeah.
not baseball. Yeah.
Yeah, we would do that sometimes too, but we would really play baseball. We'd get all the kids that played and round them up, start going door to door, knocking on everyone. Come on, let's go play.
See, I got a story. So like in one neighborhood, we were playing baseball, and we set up in the street, and there was like cars still parked in the street. And my friend, he hits it, it goes up, and we see this guy washing his car, and we're like, oh no, it's going right to him. And sure enough, it lands right in the middle of the roof of his car, and he was so angry.
Oh, wow.
We got in so much trouble.
So we would use tennis balls when we played because
Oh.
the houses, they weren't, I mean, they were far apart. The home run was actually if you hit it across the street on the roof, that was a home run. So
what did
we
you
had
use
to
as
use
bases?
tennis balls.
Did you
We
use-
actually had little bases,
Oh,
or we would
okay.
just use chalk
Yeah,
because we were playing on the street basically. So we would each curb like on the driveway, and then the other side of the street, we would write bases, and then we draw the pitcher's mound, home plate, and everything. And
Yeah.
we would use all that for our bases, and then
We use slippers because we didn't have chalk,
Uh-huh.
right? We didn't have the actual bases, so we would use slippers as markers of which is
Yeah.
what base.
Well, we would use whatever we could. Like the team that's batting, sometimes we would use their gloves,
Uh-huh.
and we would just run and step on those.
But that's when it was fun.
Yeah.
So for those of you listening this morning, we do have a question of the day, and it's do you follow baseball or did you ever play baseball? So go ahead and leave us your comments and join in our conversation. So what position did you play in baseball?
I started out playing shortstop and pitcher, and
Okay.
then eventually I started playing second base as well because another guy on my team, he was also very good at shortstop, so we would swap out certain games, and
Yeah.
then other games that I would pitch, he'd be shortstop, or I'd play wherever wherever in those three positions.
Okay, so you played in high school, correct?
Yes.
So what was your position when you were in high school?
High school, I was same thing: pitcher, shortstop, or second base. I would rotate, and then um, yeah, I also played a little bit of first base,
Mm-hmm.
like later on, but mostly shortstop, second base, and pitcher.
Yeah, when we had it for school, I would play shortstop. But then after a while, because a lot of people really couldn't catch that well, I ended up on first base because, everyone throws to first base. And I'm like, but this is not fun. I want to be like in the middle of the action.
Yeah, shortstop was. I mean, that's probably it was one of my favorite positions because you get the ball hit deep in between third base and the second base. You get to make like diving plays, and you really got to be athletic to fill that position. So that was one of my favorite spots.
Does everybody bat in high school ball?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even the
pitcher. Yeah, pitcher.
Oh, so you don't have like the pinch hitters that they have with the professionals.
No. Yeah, everybody bats. So you have to be able to hit.
Yeah. So after high school, did you pursue baseball?
I did not. So during high school, my freshman year, I moved to a new city from San Jose to a city called Los Banos.
Okay, I know where that's at.
Yeah, it's a tiny little town. It's actually a lot like the town I live in right now.
Okay.
But it's a real small town. And I got there and I didn't know anybody. I come out for tryouts, and then everyone goes to their position for where you want to play. And I very quickly got recognized as one of the I guess better players for a freshman. So I was trying out for pitcher. The coach recognized that I can pitch pretty good. The varsity team was going to be going to a tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and they needed to get some live action pitching, so they put me on the mound.
Oh wow!
So to pitch against varsity, I'm the freshman. Nobody knows me. Here I go against the varsity guys. All the the bigger they're huge. I was a tiny little freshman, so they put me on the mound, and they wanted me to throw live batting practice to them, so they can get some swings in, some hits. And so I get up there, I start pitching, and the first guy, I strike him out. And then the next guy comes up there, and the same thing. I'm like striking him out. And then the third guy, same thing. Like they're like, "Oh, who is this guy?"
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the varsity team. They're supposed to be really good,
Yeah.
But I'm up there striking them out, and then everybody's like, oh, "Who is this guy?" So they switch me out for another pitcher, and then I go do other drills. But later on that day, the coach asked me, "Hey, you want to go with us to this tournament we're playing in?" Blah blah blah. It's with the varsity. You'll of course need a uniform, a varsity uniform, and everything. Just you can be our pitcher. So I started out pitching for them, and then the season starts, and they asked me, "Do you want to stay with us and play on the varsity team?" I didn't know anybody. I didn't know, like, the freshman guys. I knew I would eventually be on their team once they got up. So I declined playing on varsity just so I could, be with people of my age, and because I'm gonna be with them. I don't have any friends.
Yeah.
So instead of playing with varsity, I stayed down and played with the lower. I actually didn't go with the freshmen, though. I went to the sophomore team.
Oh, okay.
So,
And then in baseball, they're not coaches; they're managers, right? Is that
they have coaches.
Oh, they do
Yeah,
have
they're
coaches.
assistant coaches.
So
Yeah.
were they upset that you said no?
I really didn't care. I wanted what I felt was best for me, and I thought at that time it was to play with just a lower group of guys, not try to shine and go with varsity. So I stepped down, played with the sophomores, and then the next year I played with the sophomore team again, which was the freshmen. So I was back with my age group. And,
Yeah.
I thought it was better for me. It helped me develop, and yeah, I just thought it was.
So
better
did
for
you
me.
play your all 4 years of high school?
Yes, I played it all 4 years. My junior year is when I really felt like I was really, getting into the swing of things. I was, pitching. I felt like I had a lot of control. I threw. The one time that I did get clocked, I was pitching like 85 miles per hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For us, well, that was like my sophomore year that they clocked me. So I got noticed by like professional teams.
Okay.
So
Like really, like from where?
these a Cincinnati team
Okay.
came to my games, and then I got a letter to try out for a professional team at my junior year, Colorado,
Oh wow.
and then I got invited. The Seattle team
Okay.
sent me a letter so that I can join their travel team in Australia,
Oh wow.
which I didn't get to go because you had to pay like $3,000, and back then that was it was a lot of money.
That's a lot. It's still a lot now.
I mean, yeah, it's still a lot of money, but I mean, it would have included, my airfare, or
Mhm.
no, it wasn't 3,000. It was like $7,000. It was my airfare, all my boarding, food, everything to go to Australia and play. Uh, I didn't get to do that either.
So, did you entertain even like Cincinnati or Colorado?
So I was very interested in playing for them, and um, I also got another letter from Florida,
Mhm.
from the Florida team, pro team. But I did get injured at the end of my junior year.
Oh.
Yes, I got tendonitis in my right shoulder. My tendons were like separating so much, and there was like bleeding inside my
Ooh.
shoulder. It was very painful.
Oh.
So I ended up I was gonna quit baseball like my senior year because I knew I couldn't pitch, and I loved pitching. I couldn't really throw across the field anymore from shortstop, so
Mhm.
I couldn't play any of those positions anymore. I couldn't play shortstop, couldn't pitch, so I got moved over to first base. Never played first base in my life. It was a total like new experience being so close to the batter. It felt like,
Mhm.
because first base, the hot corner, or I mean, third base is known as a hot corner, but first base you get balls hit at you very fast
Yeah.
from being so close. It felt like.
Yeah.
So,
So then after that, like, so you still played your senior year, but you
yeah,
just weren't what you were before.
right. My shoulder, I couldn't really throw. It hurt every time I threw. And I would just, endure the pain. I would still throw
Mhm.
as hard as I could with that pain, but I knew I felt like I couldn't continue after that year. So my senior year, I knew any scholarships that I might have been interested in getting, or
Yeah.
any schools that I was interested in going to. I I decided I wasn't gonna play baseball in college, so
Yeah.
I saw Marine recruiters come on base, so I decided to join the military instead.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so after high school, you went into the military.
Yes.
So did you play for them at all?
No.
Why not?
And that was one of the main reasons why I chose the Marines, because the recruiter's like, yeah, we have a Marine baseball team. So you enlist, you'll become a Marine, you do all the basic stuff that you have to do, and then you can try out for the Marine team, and that would be your job. You would not have any other job other than playing baseball in the Marines. I was like, oh, sign me up.
I think they coerced you. Okay. So what
Yeah.
happened? You signed up.
I signed up, and I thought, I could rehab my arm,
Mhm.
because you have to lift weights in the Marines. So I thought, yeah, my arm would get stronger, and then I could eventually start playing baseball again. So I think after my first year and a half to 2 years, I sought out the baseball coach of the Marine Corps team. This is after I went to my regular job and everything, but I sought out the coach. I went to him. I asked him, I told him I'm a decent baseball player.
Uh-huh.
I let him know the positions I played, where I played, how long I played, and he basically took one look at me and was like, you're a little small." So he's like, "Yeah, we're not interested in any new players right now." So it's like,
So he didn't like give you a chance.
no chance to even try out or see
Oh, that is
my
so
skills at
wrong.
all. Yeah, so
That is
it's
so
just,
wrong.
yeah.
Okay, so you didn't get to play while you're in the military.
Yeah. So even though I didn't get on the team, I still practiced. There were some guys that I knew in the Marines who played baseball. So, I would bring extra gloves. We would go play catch. We would go to the batting cages, do different things.
How big were these guys in the Marines? Because you're not exactly a small guy.
Well, when I first got in, I only weighed 145 pounds,
Okay.
and I was 5'11", 145 pounds. That's pretty small. But after a year and a half in the Marines, 2 years, 3 years, I gained some weight, went up to 185 at the most when I was in the Marines.
Okay.
But
So do you still follow baseball now, even though you're not playing?
I don't really follow a lot. I mean, I watch like highlights and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I don't follow it too much. When I joined and I was deployed, there weren't a whole lot of games that we can watch, and then the time zone differences, I couldn't catch a lot of games. And then after 5 years of not really watching, I didn't know any players' names anymore, really.
Yeah.
So it's like it wasn't interesting to me because I had no connection with any players.
Yeah.
I didn't really, you know.
So Renz is asking, did you collect baseball cards?
I did. I had boxes of baseball cards underneath my bed. And they were arranged by teams, and then I put them in order of the guys that I thought were the best players to the worst players, and yeah, we kept them pretty organized. They were all labeled and everything. We had some.
You still have them to this day?
I do not. When I joined the Marines, I left all my stuff at home, and I'm not sure what happened to all that stuff.
See, that's one thing I never got into was collecting baseball or any kind of cards. Like, what is the purpose of collecting baseball cards?
So if you get a card for like certain players who are really good, and then you get a card that is like rare, like if they hit like a certain milestone, like there was a player named Ricky Henderson, and he stole a lot of bases, and we had one of the baseball cards for when he broke the record, and he was like holding up the base.
Okay.
We had that baseball card, and you can look up the values of some of those cards, and some of them were worth like hundreds of dollars, and depending on what card, it could be worth thousands.
So that's why people were collecting the cards, is just in case it would be
Not
worth
necessarily something? Like a lot of people just like having the card of their best player that they liked. So even though they were their best player at the time, it didn't mean the card was going to be worth anything, and that wasn't the reason why we collected them. We just love baseball.
Do you have a sister?
I do.
I think she commented. She says your mom still has them, the cards.
Okay. Well, maybe we should go collect them and see if anything's worth anything. Hopefully your sister doesn't take them all.
Yeah, actually, growing up, my younger sister, she would play catch with me a lot. Like I would find anybody I could to practice with, to play catch with. Anytime I could spare time and go out there and throw the ball around, I would. And my younger sister, she was always like willing to be the person who plays catch with me.
Yeah.
And I throw pretty hard, so sometimes I forget that I'm playing catch with my sister, and she would still catch them. But there was a time where I did accidentally hit her, and she got a black eye. Sorry.
Now, how many siblings did you have?
So I have two sisters,
Okay.
one older sister, one younger sister, and then a younger brother.
Oh, so there's 4 of you.
Yes, there's 4 of us.
Yeah. See, in my family, there's 6 of us. So every time we played sports, we pretty much had a whole team already, you know? And I think that was like one of the benefits of growing up in a big family, because you wouldn't have to find the other neighborhood kids.
Yeah. My mom would play catch with me sometimes. My mom's friends. I would literally get anybody I could to play catch with me.
So, anything interesting happened while you were playing baseball, whether it was in Little League or in high school?
I did have some really good games. Like I remember when I was 12 years old, I pitched a complete game. It was against a pretty good team too, and I ended up pitching the entire game. I threw a no hitter. Nobody got a hit.
Oh wow!
And I ended up striking out like 12 players on the team.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it was a complete game. I got the game ball. We won like 14-0, and then we only played six innings, but out of those 6 innings, I struck out like a lot of players during that game.
So did you consider yourself like pretty fast, like when it came to running and everything?
Yes. I would get a lot of base hits because I was fast. Like I would hit it to the shortstop, and then I would make it first before they could even throw it to first base sometimes.
And did you steal bases?
I was always given the open chance to steal. Like I didn't have to get, we would always have signs to steal.
Yeah.
For me, the coach is like, if you want to run, just go ahead and do it.
Pretty cool.
So I would steal second, and then the very next pitch, I would steal third. I even got a chance to steal home, which is very difficult.
Yeah, that is.
How do you do that? How do you steal home?
So it's harder when you're younger because you can't lead off when you're younger. you have to go as soon as the pitch crosses the plate.
Yeah.
So that's very difficult. So you would have to do it on like a pass ball, or if the catcher drops it. But when you get older, when you turn 13, that's when you can lead off. And so I remember when I think I was 14 years old, I just got a pretty big lead, and I knew this pitcher, his windup was a little slow. So as soon as he started into his windup, because he can't stop once he starts,
Yeah.
I took off to home, and I forgot to let the batter know not to swing.
Oh, please tell me he did not hit
Yeah,
you.
no, he didn't hit me. I got lucky, but I got the chance to steal home, and it was, that was a pretty awesome moment for me. I like.
And I do remember when I was playing at school where I would be the one stealing bases because I was small, and so sometimes people wouldn't see me, and I was pretty fast. I was really good at sprinting, but not like long distance running, and so I got caught in a pickle. Did you ever get caught in a pickle?
So we would actually play. There was a game called pickle.
Yeah.
Like, we would get the neighborhood kids together, like I said, playing baseball. So we would either play tag. There was all kinds of different games we would play. We would be outside from sun up to sundown when I was a kid. It was just normal back then.
Exactly.
But we'd play pickle. That was like one of our favorite. We'd set up bases like 60 feet apart, and then one guy would hold the ball, and then you just take off running in the game. Try to make it to the other base. You get in a pickle, and so we would play that. It actually transferred to my game because I got pretty good at that too. So
yeah,
there was times where I got in a pickle in the game, and I would get out of it.
I always thought like that was the most interesting thing whenever I would watch live baseball. Whenever the player would try to steal bases and then they would get in a pickle.
Yeah.
Because I mean, sometimes it can go forever.
Right. Yeah. If you're good at it, like if you're really good at defense, there's no way anyone should be safe playing when they get in the pickle rundown. It's very easy to get people out, but if they're fast enough, people do manage to make it and get safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were playing, what type of training did you need? I mean, like what type of training did you need, and what types of workouts did you have to do to stay fit for baseball?
So we would run a lot. So we would run a mile at times.
That's too much.
And then we would do sprints.
Mhm.
So we would, line up. We would sprint the baseline, the base path. We would do those, and then we would run from home to first, come back to home, then we run from home to second, come back to home, or home to third, come back, and then go all the way around. And then we would do another drill where we would split up the team and have like a certain amount of team at second base, and then a certain amount of team at home. And then the object was to make it back to your original base before the other guys did.
Oh.
And if your whole team completed the whole thing before the other team did, your team basically won.
Yeah.
The losing team would have to go run another lap.
How come that was a punishment for every sport? If you did something, you had to run. Because I even remember for volleyball, if you were late, they would make you run in the gym, like who knows how many laps.
Yeah, that too. If we were late, you would have to run a lap.
Yeah.
Do push-ups or do different exercises.
Now, did you have to was lifting weights part of things you would have to do?
It
to
should
do for
have been.
Baseball?
It should have been. I think if I had lifted weights, it would have prevented a lot of injuries. But back then, the weight training and all the the specialized trainings that they have now, it wasn't so well known that kids should be doing that to be ready for the sport and to prevent injuries. So everything that I did, it was basic, natural ability. So yeah, I was throwing too hard for my arm, for my size and my muscles. If I had lifted weights, it would have prevented my shoulder from separating and getting injured.
Now, you said you were a pitcher. So what was like the fastest ball you threw?
So the fastest ball that was documented or with the radar gun was like 89 miles per hour.
Oh, so that's what they use as a radar gun.
Yeah, they use a radar gun. And I'm sure it could have been a lot faster if I had lifted weights and done training, but naturally I can throw 89 miles per hour.
and normally, like with the professionals, what would their average, like the highest speed would be for the ball?
It varies. There's some pro pitchers that could throw 85 was their max, and then there's some that I think the fastest recorded pitch was like 106.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, while you were playing, was there ever a time you would throw the ball and just hit them on purpose?
Not on purpose. Like I pitched against one of my good friends when we were about 13. I pitched against one of my good friends and I accidentally hit him. And I didn't only hit him once, I hit him twice with one pitch.
Mhm.
Yeah, I hit him. It hit his arm and then it hit him in the ribs. And the next day he showed me the ball mark, the seam marks from the ball.
Oh my gosh.
You could see it in the bruise, and it was just this huge purple bruise.
Yeah. I remember when we were playing in school, some of them, if they knew the hitter was really good, they would hit him on purpose so
Oh,
that they
wow.
only get to first
To
base,
first base,
and they
yeah.
wouldn't be able to swing. And I thought that was messed up.
Yeah, I've seen guys do that on my team. Like, they would hit people on purpose. Like if they had some kind of altercation,
Hmm.
or if the player was gloating. Like we had a guy who he got up to the plate and just he called his shot. He pointed to the home, like he was saying he was going to hit a home run. Basically, the pitcher hit him.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then one of the things is I notice also with baseball, when something happens to one player, it's like the whole dugout comes
The whole
out to the
team comes
field.
out, yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's not like legal.
It's not, but you got to protect your players. If it's your pitcher, you got to protect your pitcher. If you're hitter, you got to protect your team. You got to look out for one another.
Oh wow, that's messed up though.
I mean, it's not necessarily all of us like going out there to fight. It's
Yeah.
kind of like to break up the fight or
Okay.
to stop someone from getting hurt.
Okay.
So that's why everyone comes out. But sometimes everyone coming out isn't a good thing because it ends up turning
Yeah.
into a big fight.
Yeah, because like in hockey, I know they do that also, but like in football or basketball, they learn to stay at the bench usually.
Yeah.
But that's what I remember about baseball. So Nate, who do we have logged on today? Who's listening to us this morning?
All right, let's run through the comments and thank everyone for being patient with my camera work. I'm very new to this. But we're greeted by Leah and Victor from Blue Ridge. Also, Janice, your wife, tuned in. Let's see. Arnie, how did you tune in? Your comments in here somehow. We also have Romelu. We also have Mylene, who's also from Blue Ridge. We also have our very own JR here in Fort Worth. We also have Norby. Mark actually brought up that back in his days when he played, he couldn't hit to save his life, and earlier he had mentioned he'd use like mailboxes for the bases. And then we also have Byron joining us this morning, Melanie, Renz, of course. Let's see. Janice actually says the closest thing that she did to baseball when she was young was softball, and that was just using a ball and a good stick from a tree, playing with neighborhood kids. That's very common though, that kids would just use whatever they had,
Yeah.
and they would play baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also have Joan who joined us, Sally. Of course, your sister commented earlier. Emil, Jane joined us again this morning. Thank you for joining, Jane. Pauline joined us. Yinalyn, I hope I said that correctly. Robert from Florida, thank you for joining us. For Shelton, Diane. We have someone by the name letter A. Hello, A. But they're shouting us all out here in INCRadio SCS. And back to you.
We should do something for our loyal listeners because Renz is always on, and Jane, I do see her on a lot. We should try to do something like that in the future. What do you think?
Like baseball cards or no?
Well, in the future, we're going to be travel, so maybe something with travel.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to buy them a car?
Yeah, no, I can't afford a car. So anyway, so back to AJ. So besides that shoulder injury of yours, did you get any other injuries while playing baseball?
So I broke my hand one time.
How do you break a hand?
And it was after I hurt my shoulder.
Okay.
They moved me to first base, and during the play, they hit it to shortstop. Shortstop throws it to me. The ball's kind of thrown off line towards the batter, so I stick out my hand to catch the ball. As soon as I caught the ball, the runner ran into my hand, straight into my fingers, and it fractured my hand.
See, in school, when some of the girls who likes to be very girly would have the long nails, and I know a lot of them would break their nails and they would cry, and I'm like, see, you don't need long nails when you play sports.
Oh, yeah. A lot of baseball players, I don't know what it was, but a lot of them, actually bit their nails, maybe from the nerves and being nervous.
Yeah.
I just noticed a lot of players bite their nails. I used to also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it seems like we are out of time. So before we end, I just wanted to see if you wanted to give out a shout out to anyone.
Shout out to my family who's watching, hopefully. Shout out to my wife. Thank you for supporting me. She used to always go to like all my games. Like I would also play as an adult. After I got in the Marine Corps, I joined like an adult league. So she would come out and watch all my adult baseball games. I still play to this day.
Oh, that's so nice of her. Well, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in this morning. We will be back next week, same time, 9 a.m. And before we go, we'd always like to say a thank you to our CFO coordinator and SEBC president, Brother Angelo Iranio Manalo, and of course to our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. So thank you all for joining, and we will see you all next week.
All right. Goodbye.